Let's go. Here we go, guys. Top 4.
Getting ready, and we will be underway very shortly.
Top 4 of the Oceania Continental Championships. Here we go. Here we go. There's 3 tier element decks left in the tournament. Bowden is still in. He's playing some spicy version. And we also have an Eldritch Adventure deck, branded deck in there. Okay, so it's
we have Dino versus Daniel for a place
the
in the
tier
final.
element
And would you look at that?
mirror
Dino,
match.
the only undefeated player in our tournament so far.
Yeah, went 8-0 in the Swiss rounds and has now obviously not lost a match in the top.
Okay, so that's going to prove that he knows the deck well. He's undefeated. He's going to understand what Tearlaments do, but he's against Tearlament Danger. So there's higher variance now for him. Because the Tier Element Danger deck has a better matchup against the pure Tier Element deck.
But we are good to go. Just waiting for our duelist there to do the dice roll.
Everything good here, man. Don't play much Yu-Gi-Ohs anymore with baseball and the baby. Hope all is well with you too. And yeah, everything's really well with me, bro. Glad to hear it. You keep crushing, bro. Here we go.
Shaking hands. Sign of good faith.
This is it. Game 1 of the semi-finals.
So it looks like Dino maybe had won the dice roll.
So Dino's gone with Impermanence in the main deck, which will help him against Abyss Dweller.
Yeah, did win the dice roll.
Which will swing him as a favorite in this matchup, actually.
Field spell here, searching for the Tearlament Rhino Heart.
Opening the field spell, a great start for Daniel Peck. Exactly what you need. Get this game underway.
Must be revealing a danger now. Okay, danger's going to be revealed now. If that's one.
Signals the activation of a danger card.
So we have Danger Mothman.
We often see players do this as well, setting a card from their hand, keeping the most powerful card in their hand.
Okay. Wow, it's Dino's tournament. It's Dino's tournament, chat. He hits 25% of Mothman. He should trigger Mothman, but he doesn't. So it ties against it.
So interestingly, in the main deck there, it looks like Dino is.
Will this get impermed?
Dynamiscus.
Okay, I also see an infinite impermanence in that hand, probably saving it for exactly Tearlament Kit Carlos. And Dino's deck notably playing hand traps as opposed to the danger deck, which is fairly.
If Daniel's smart, he will go Chelink 1 fusion, Chelink 2 the field spell to destroy the fusion. But that's if he knows Dino's on impermanence.
More for the danger build, and I guess that's why we have seen like so much success here from Dino.
Depends on your hand, Tommy, to trigger Mothman. If your hand's quite poor, you have to risk it. If it's quite strong, you won't trigger it.
Dino very happy that was the case. Now Dino starting with his own field spell,
The imperm just shuts down Daniel.
demonstrating that his hand is at least as good as Daniel's was.
So it looks like Dino's going to win this game.
Set before activating that danger. It seems Dino has drawn a DD Crow as well.
DD Crow, a card that hasn't featured a lot in a lot of people's main decks today.
No, but it was a great call. Dino playing against a lot of Tearlament today, and it has come up pretty handy, I'd imagine.
Yeah, Tier Element has the highest conversion for top cut. So if your deck is built to beat the mirror match, you're going to crush this event, especially in top cut, because the majority of top cut is Tier Element. 5 of the top 8 were Tier Element decks.
This is exactly why Dino has gone 8-0 in this tournament, demonstrating that just having a few Tearlament cards in combination with cards like DD Crow and Paleozoic Dynamiscus is enough.
Go Chelink 1 Harvest, Chelink 2 Reno.
The effective Rhino Heart on the chain 2.
Yeah.
Rhino Heart will send a card to the graveyard.
Then Dino's going to trigger the field spell. Now, what's interesting here, will Dino destroy a back row, or will he destroy the field spell?
In mind is accessing a card like Abyss Dweller in this matchup is incredibly impactful, but going straight for Kaleido Heart.
Because usually the back rows are going to be a Tier Element trap.
If possible.
He's playing Underworld Goddess.
Definitely a card that Daniel could have.
That will be interesting.
Spell and the Kaleido Heart targeting
Both back
spells
rows.
and traps.
Okay,
Daniel to use them
I like
now
this.
or use them
I
never.
like this play.
If it is super polymerization, not the greatest time to activate it. Has a Tearlament Silic. targeting the Collider Heart.
The field spell targeted the other face down, so that's still going to destroy the other one.
Tearlament Kit Carlos, one of the cards that Dino cannot stop with a card like DD Crow. It will allow Daniel to send the top 5 cards of his deck. However, activates DD Crow.
I suppose it does take the fusion material out of the graveyard, and he did
Wow,
only
doesn't hit a
mill
single
4
Tearlament
spells
off the
and a
top
danger.
5.
Wow.
Very
The
unlucky.
trap's
for
not a cost though, is it?
Of course, Dino, they're looking to keep all Aquas out of Daniel's graveyard. At this point, Daniel, I don't think has anything left.
I mean, that
It's a very unlucky sequence for him.
Why did he crow? The
play with
fusion.
the DD Crow there, obviously coming up pretty good there.
It was an interesting timing.
Getting
for Dino. You
cooked.
would have expected him to
Dino
go
insane.
for
Yeah, Dino's playing as well.
potentially what was sent off the top of the deck. There.
But why did he crow the monster?
He is.
Seemed to get lucky.
'Cause it's not a cost to send with a trap, so it's still going to trigger to mill.
Gonna set
Why
the
crow?
Dynamiscus. One of the advantages, I guess, over the danger deck is you get to keep every card in your hand, guaranteed. So, 2 spells and traps. Daniel is going to have to contest with. Has a Merly in hand though, and combined with the Tearlament Select, that is a very powerful card to have.
Actually, doesn't look like
This might be met by an
Dino does have a
imperm.
hand, I
It
believe.
could be met by an
Yeah.
imperm.
Dynamiscus isn't.
But it's a bit risky,
He
like
had the choice to
wasting
put
it.
one of those spells and traps in his hand so that Dynamiscus would be.
Okay, this is a good mill.
And there, of course, are some Tearlaments off the top of Daniel's deck, as expected. After this many cards sent to the graveyard,
He could make his own
Dino in a good position
Kalido,
to select Crow.
the boss
He has a summon.
fusion to banish the other boss monster,
Pretty good
and then the
card.
field spell could then destroy a back row.
That being said, between the field spell and his own Select, Daniel might be able to just avoid that entirely. Dino doesn't have a card in hand to activate Paleozoic Dynamiscus here.
Yeah, he's gonna do it.
So looking at doing his own Collider Heart here.
I like this play. I think.
But it's gonna be met by a trap though,
Impactful cards.
and that will crush him.
Mirror specifically.
So the fusion's gonna target the fusion. The field spell's gonna target a back row.
Combination.
Dino just did it to Daniel. It's only fair he does it back.
But will he destroy the field spell though? He's likely to hit a trap, a Tearlament trap.
A little risky.
Okay.
Chooses to let it resolve. Does trigger the Select though, which means that the Dynamiscus
He should have destroyed the field
is going
spell.
to be live because it will be able to add a card.
Field spell's gonna trigger now.
And also Dino reminding Daniel that because a Tearlament was returned to his extra deck, he
This is
allowed
it.
to use
It's the field spell control,
not
bro.
just from fusion summons.
Yeah, Dino showing
He should have destroyed his
pretty
field
good job
spell.
with The Tearlament deck there.
Yeah, I almost think Daniel maybe could have forgotten that. Now using the Tearlament Select, I believe, to send the Collider Heart to graveyard.
And then he's gonna bring it back. Chainlink won the fusion.
Actually, no, I believe the card was popped was actually Tearlament Meta Noise, a card that no one else has really chosen to play in their list, and potentially can see why. It did not have a target to add back from the graveyard here. Meaning that Dino is now stuck without much to do in the face of what Daniel is doing.
Yeah, Mud Dragon in the swamp coming out.
Yeah, just going for a Mud Dragon. That is
Going
not
into the battle phase.
particularly threatening.
Takes 700. Takes from 19. Takes 26 total.
Interestingly,
This one
did
to
not make
54.
Carlos there. I wonder if he had the materials. I don't believe he did because of the using all 3 materials to make Collider Heart there.
Okay.
Daniel does have.
Oh
the
man, it's
Tearlament
Merely again.
That's a good draw.
Oh boy.
And the Dynamiscus.
Oh boy. That's
targeting
broken.
Collider Heart.
What a draw, chat. What a draw.
So it does trigger the effects of
Yes.
Tearlament, importantly.
So Dino demonstrating there that because he was the turn.
It's Dino's tournament, chat.
He had the first option to activate.
It's Dino's tournament.
effect, which means that Daniel could not activate the Mud Dragon in the Swamp to make the Collider Heart untargetable. Now going for a Kit Carlos. Once again, it's now looking like Daniel Peck doesn't have anything to stop this. Cannot activate Tearlament Select because he does not control a Tearlament monster. That Dino-Miscus really putting in work with the Merly off the top of Dino's deck there. It's exactly what Dino wanted.
Yeah, Kid Carlos here.
Gonna add
Searching for a copy of the Rhino Heart.
Yeah. And provided the card in Daniel's hand is not something like a Tearlament Harvest, believe we know what is in his hand right now. Very well could be.
Imagine if he hit the right trap.
He's not.
It is allowed to activate.
He misplays with Crow.
Return to Dino's extra deck, which means he can go into it again.
Gets pretty lucky with his sequencing.
He has enough material just yet.
It's Dino's tournament, chat.
You also see sending a Tearlament early here just to get more cards.
Never punished.
Into his graveyard. Sending a Tearlament Shiren. We could also see here Dino could be going into his own Mud Dragon so he may establish an Abyss Dweller. One of the most
Abyss
powerful
Dweller,
cards in the mirror match here.
We
That's
saw
exactly what he's
yesterday.
doing.
I mean, we saw yesterday in the Tearlament mirror how important the Abyss Dweller is. Shutting off the graveyard effects completely really does hit.
I think it is the
And I
number
think,
one.
there we go. Daniel is
Wow.
picking up his cards.
Actually, Daniel was on low life points. I
He
think that was
was,
just
yeah.
enough to close out the game.
Yeah, Dino's one game one.
Game up in top 4.
Remaining. I mean, he really wants to go through this whole entire tournament.
Could be a
undefeated.
fast match.
Dino, someone I do know, is very competitive. Will have it in his mind that winning this championship would be sort of a dream come true, I think.
Would it though? Like, let's be real. Though. Would it? Don't put that into someone's head, bro. Don't say it would be if it's not a dream come true.
Potentially lava golems as well. Hard to say.
Obviously, the winner of this one going through to that final to try to take the crown of the Oceanic Yu-Gi-Oh! Champion of 2022.
The other finals match currently going on. 2 people we've seen on stream: Michael Dwan versus Bowden Temnik.
We heard in the his top 8 matchup.
Yo, Joe, you'll know this, or Tommy. How many Worlds invites
So
do Oceana get?
work for Bowden.
Is it 1 or 2?
As we see a lot of the cards that Dino decided.
I'm pretty sure it's 2, but I can't remember.
As well. Especially that Paleozoic Dynamiscus.
2?
Probably the
2.
I mean, drawing the Tearlament.
What a
off the
joke.
top of the
Yeah.
deck, very much
What a joke.
Back into that game.
it was lucky, but you put these cards.
They should only get 1.
The chances of finding a card that will win
2.
you off the top, and
They must be it must be the easiest continent to ever qualify for the World Championships. 2. So easy, man.
Very, very interesting.
400 people qualified for this event. 250 turned up,
If you destroy them,
and 2 actually get a Worlds invite.
they do have like an effect that will kind of replenish them. So banishing them is the best way of getting rid of them.
And
Basically,
banishing a Kaleido Heart.
1% of the field is getting an invite to the World
We
Championships.
did see as
That's
well
how
Daniel
crazy
that
that is.
Using the Kaleido Heart on a monster instead of a spell or trap did trigger Dino's field spell, which I think
Wow.
potentially was something he didn't keep in mind when activating his Kaleido Heart there. So something I think he will keep in mind going forward into this match.
The standard
Another thing about Dino Spasovski, a very methodical
for
player.
European players, American players, is way higher.
His cards include-
Way higher.
Some people miss the specific text on that field spell. Meanwhile, Daniel Peck, haven't been able to see what he's sided in, but you have to imagine some pretty...
So Daniel's going to be going first, most likely in the mirror match. He's got Eradicator there with Supoli and Mothman. So you got to decide: does he set the Eradicator, or does he just go off with Mothman, increase his odds not to hit it? We've got a 20% odd chance to hit the Mothman if he reveals it first.
Being could be massive in this matchup.
Okay, so he goes Chupacabra first over the
Starting with
Mothman.
the danger.
One notable thing about Tearlament is without playing something like Elshad or Winder, they do have
4.
no defense against something like Nibiru. the
Mothman is
Dragon.
hit. Chupacabra summoned.
Could see Daniel here
He's gonna
respect
draw.
this list and maybe
He might actually activate the
slightly
Mothman
less
now.
impactful board to play around that
He just doesn't think about it.
for me.
Now that's a decision I would consider. I wouldn't rush past it. You should think about that.
Running through his mind, what is the best card to get for this situation? Gets Tearlament Shiren. One of the things you have to keep in mind in this match as well is waiting until the last possible moment to activate a monster's effect on the field, playing around a card like Tearlament Harvness. Shiren is the best at doing that. We could also see Daniel here underextend. Just go for an Abyss Dweller.
I wonder if there's going to be a Nessie on the top 3.
He is discarding the
Top 3 is going to be a Nessie for sure.
That
Surely.
will
No.
sort of show us what play he wants to do.
I fully expect him to activate the Harvness here. Whether or not he continues
He is activating both, so he is using...
No, he's
oh, no, he is
both,
fusing
yeah.
them both, sorry.
My expectation is that Daniel might just go for Carlos, add a copy of Tearlaments Sullic, and then make Abyss Dweller. I
That
tend
would
to
be
find that in the
pretty
mirror...
sensible play.
No, I think he's going to have the level
sometimes
2.
just having less is more.
Going to add the level 2, so we can
Going for a
mill 8.
lot of extension
He's
here.
going to mill 8.
Pretty risky.
He's going to target the fusion, summon that from hand,
Tearlament
and he's going to mill 8.
At this point, that is 3 summons.
He's already got Eradicator.
Dino's Nibiru getting ever closer. And if we ever hit that 5th summon, Dino is looking pretty good. Activate the Kit Carlos, summoning the Merly.
Summon number 4.
Yep.
1 for Kit, 2 for
I think at
Millie.
this point, it's pretty inevitable that Daniel will summon a 5th time.
There's the snow.
Tell Snow.
Fairy Tale Snow hits the graveyard.
I just can't see someone playing this deck without Nessie.
Alright. Tearlament Sullic here. Adds a Rhino Heart.
Do you think Daniel has any inkling that Nibiru was a card that may have been cited in there?
I mean, at this point of the competition, I think most players are aware of what is in each other's decks. But the way that Daniel is playing, I do not believe he is respecting Nibiru the Primal Being, because, at least in my opinion, Kit Carlos plus Abyss Dweller would have been enough to stop Dino's hand, especially I think because Dino has drawn 2 copies of Nibiru.
What a board Daniel's going to set up now. Quite a few plays. There's quite a lot of options he has here. He's pretty much set up.
Now looking at using the grave effect of the Tearlament Merly, sending the Havness and the Merly back to the bottom of the deck to perform the fusion summon.
Yep, here comes probably Garura. Now, are we going to make Curious here?
You might do, because you might want to make Griffin.
Just a Sprite Elf.
Depends if he plays
I think
Gizmek.
that Daniel Peck is on the Eradicator package.
Gonna make Elf.
Potentially going down that road.
I definitely think he's setting up Eradicator Epidemic Virus. There's no doubt about that.
In his hand, though,
Chooses
guys.
to do so is to his own volition.
Okay, here we go.
And yeah, here we are seeing Summon of Curious, the Lights One Dominion. Already
Now,
have Fairy Tale Snow engraved, though. So
He
not
decided to go
exactly
Elf first, so
Aiming
Curious
to-
can't be targeted by Imperm or Effect Veiler.
So we're going to change.
His M board will be Nib Token. Stop it.
But in Curious at Chainlink 2 does not want to draw the card he wants to send, for sure.
Well, at
This
least...
is what it will be, though.
Okay.
Goes for Tearlament Sharon. And at this point, if Dino activates that Nibiru, nothing on Daniel's field will be able to activate should this Sharon activate its
I love how Dino's just chilling with his Nib. He's got double Nib in his hand.
Activating Sprite Elf. Saying no effect of Sharon. No?
I believe he used the Sprite Elf to
yeah.
bring back the Merly. He may have just indicated that to
Okay, yeah. So yeah, interestingly, now that Daniel has activated the Shiren, a Nibiru here is very, very low risk for Dino. Nothing will activate in Graveyard.
Oh my god, this Nib's going to be broken.
Draxtapelia, but
Yeah.
I mean,
This
that
Nib.
doesn't stop Nibiru.
No, it does not.
It's definitely Dino's tournament. This Nib is going to absolutely wreck
I highly
havoc.
expect we will just see a token on Daniel's field by the end of this turn.
There's Snow, ready for Dweller.
As well.
Oh
He is
boy,
getting,
this
I think,
Nibiru.
Quite greedy with his plays here. I mean, he's looking towards the Abyss Dweller, I believe, but
So what happens here is that Daniel is going to go for the Abyss Dweller, and then on the summon, Dino is just going to hit him with
No,
Nibiru the Primal Being, and that also puts Abyss Dweller out of
on the summon.
Dino's problem book. Unless Daniel could go for a Time Thief redo it, I suppose.
yeah, we haven't seen too much.
Imagine if
yet.
he goes Appaloosa.
Here we are.
Nibiru here.
Nibiru the Primal Being coming down.
I think Dino is respecting the fact that Daniel could make redo it here and just says, I think I get enough
Nibiru,
out of
what a
this
card,
at this point.
chat. What a
Like
card.
I said, none of those Tearlaments. Shiren has already been used. Curious will be able to activate adding a card from grave back to hand, though.
Talking out stats. Pretty big.
That Primal Being token, not a
Yeah, he
target
needs to
for
make
Eradicator
Apo yet
Epidemic
at that
Virus,
point.
though.
So Dino just decided, you know, I'm going to drop it now, just not to risk that chance.
And Dino checking the graveyard. Can definitely still
TRH
activate that
tea
Fairy Tale
cooking.
Snow, but you can see the field spell in Dino's hand, prompting a fairly effective turn.
Oh, he actually looks like he has the Eradicator in his hand.
Yeah, I saw that from the start.
Yeah.
Dino size Nib 2,
Gonna add back
so
the Tearlament
it's
Harvest,
not like he's
set the
unaware of the
Eradicator
possibility
into
of
pass,
Nibiru being
set
around.
2.
Yeah, however though,
Nibiru did
very few
exactly
people
what
actually
Dino
are siding
wanted.
Nibiru.
Draws the super poly for turn. Super polymerization.
So Dino, they're opening up with the field spell.
Yeah. Would have been an effective target to hit for Eradicator Epidemic Virus, so it's quite lucky for Dino that there is no target currently on Daniel's field.
Also, as well, the first Nibiru, the Primal Being, to activate on the participation mats that we see here.
Yeah, actually, the only one that we've seen legally activated. A card that a lot of people have
Dino's
decided
cooking.
to opt
Yep.
out of, but
It's cooking,
we
bro.
saw here, very effective.
It's cooking a
against the field.
feast right now.
Goes for a Tearlament Shiren. Again, trying to play around the known Tearlament Hardness. It's possible that Dino just never activates a monster effect on field from this point onwards.
Oh, he hits very
Veritas
close.
now. 2 DD Pro. Probably would have preferred to have drawn those, but that's okay. Tearlament Rhino Heart activates. One thing Dino could do here is make an Abyss Dweller before committing to any on-field monster effects. Or in fact here he can order his Chain Link so that you cannot activate Hardness in response to the graveyard effect of Tearlament Hardness. Going for a Mud Dragon of the Swamp as well.
Probing a dark is so good. Oh, it's so important for this deck.
I imagine activating that effect, cooling Dark, but we may see that later. Actually, no, that would play into the Tearlament Hardness. There's no need. Dino deciding what to send here. Sends a Merly. Like I said, Dino looking here to just never activate a monster effect on field. Has the Super Polymerization, can just go to battle phase here.
Oh, I think the Nibiru... How big would the Nibiru
He's
token
using
be?
the field spell to destroy it right now.
Oh, yeah, correct, yeah.
It's now or never for Daniel. Do you have anything here?
Let's game on board.
One of those cards is Eradicator Epidemic Virus.
Which isn't going to be doing much for him.
Now,
game
we know
on
about the
board.
Fairy Tale Snow.
Oh boy.
Dino has his own.
Oh boy, chat.
One interesting play Dino has available to would have been to Super Polymerization with the Nibiru and the Nibiru token.
Oh, there we go. Daniel has his own copy of Super Polymerization, discarding the Danger Tsushinoko.
Well, that is about the best case scenario for Daniel here. Having a card that can bypass something like Mud Dragon of the Swamp.
To make his own Mud Dragon.
Mud Dragon.
Shouldn't he have gone earlier for Appaloosa to play around Nib? Apo, Dweller plus Trap is most likely going to be enough to buy you another turn. Well, it's usually enough for you to win, that sort of setup.
And also some players opting...
But there was no respect to the Nib, exactly, Artino. I guess you'll need to make Clydo Heart early to
Daniel just trying to stay alive here.
initiate Nib, yep.
Dino with his own Super Polymerization. We've now Dino announcing that he's going to summon the Tearlament Merly. No? No, using the fusion material. Okay. Of course, because a Tearlament was used.
Going into the Kid Carlos here.
Interesting to see that the Tsuchinoko was discarded but was not activated. Potentially a strategic move.
He is using the effect of Kid Carlos, and it does allow Daniel to play the Heaviness.
Oh, and once again, nothing for Daniel
off the top
there.
Yeah.
Dino has dodged a bullet.
Dino's
once
tournament.
again. Is
Dino's
now
tournament chat.
fairly free to play. Only an Eradicator Epidemic Virus in Daniel Peck's Spell and Trap Zone.
Quite unfortunate for Daniel there. All the cards he's sent so far this game off the top of the deck have not really done much work for him.
No, they've all been dangers.
Or spells.
Or spells. Still has Fairy Tale Snow. The game is not yet over.
Fairy Tale Snow now being activated. And there's a lot of fuel in that graveyard.
Yes, so activating Fairy Tale Snow here, trying to prevent Dino from using Carlos's effect to fill his graveyard. But we know Dino has Super Polymerization, which means he can still trigger it, I believe.
Interestingly enough, in this turn, there have been 3 more summons, so...
This is getting pretty close to another Nibiru. Activating the effect of Merly. Sends a Merly. Sends a
Very
Heart
difficult
and an
for Dino to lose this position. Especially with Snow in the grave, now it's filling up.
Merly has been used, I believe.
We could see us play it off this turn as well.
We'd like to give a quick shout out to our judging staff as well. These are not easy games to keep a hold of. There is the Super Polymerization. taking out the Mud Dragon of the Swamp and sending that Carlos to the graveyard.
His own copy of Drake's Tapalia.
Yeah, getting 5 more cards for his trouble there. Sends Pot of Desire, Super Polymerization, Tearlament Shiren.
And Tearlament
Right, it's
Reinhardt.
game. It's game for
All the
Dino.
stuff you can make Fairy Tale Snow with. And wait, is that it?
He is.
Daniel
That's
is
enough
conceding.
That's
Dino
it.
2-0, moving
Remains
into the
clean.
finals of the Oceanic
That was a
Championship.
clean 2-0.
2022.
For Dino,
Decisive victory
that's
there,
8-0 in
2-0.
Swiss. One is top
So
32
Dino
means 9-0.
remaining
Top
undefeated
16
this tournament. No one
ones,
yet
10-0.
take him down.
One is top 8,
Will he take it the
11-0.
whole
One
way?
is
Will he
semi-final
become
match. He's
the
12-0.
Oceanic Yu-Gi-Oh!
He's
champion?
12-0.
Smiling, he's very happy
Yeah.
about that one. So
Well played
either
there by Dino.
Michael Dwan or Bowden Temnik left. Between
If
Dino
there was Worlds invites, he'd be going to
and
Worlds for
Dwan.
sure. I think
So
I think
we
2
will
invites for
come
them
back to you shortly.
is
We will wait for the players to
is
pack up
so
their
unfair.
cards,
That they get it
and
so good.
we'll
The
bring Dino in
prizes, the
for an
invites for
interview.
Worlds.
We'll see you soon.